Hey friends, what's up? Kaz here. Welcome back to another server inventory or bucket spigot plugin tutorial. If you're joining for the first time, feel free to hit that subscribe button because I do these every week. If you have a suggestion on one you'd like me to do, feel free to comment that in the gibbles below. That would be the comment section for you new people. If you find this video helpful, feel free to hit that like button. That helps me a lot for helping you. So this week is not actually a user suggestion. It's actually an author suggestion from the author of SG Premium. And so it is a premium plugin. Be sure to log into Spigot in order to view it. Link is in the gibbles or the description. And it is made by Beta Neon. And it's really sweet, actually. I get a lot of author requests, and I take a look at them, and if they're really cool plugins or a lot of people I think would be interested in it, I go ahead and make a tutorial of it, help them out, especially for this one. There's a lot of survival game plugins out there, and they kind of stick around for a little while, then fade off. This one is modeled after a lot of the big name ones, like Mineplex, and Hypixel has their own deal, but it's kind of the same layout of deal. Now, it's most like the Hive, I think, where players join, they're sitting in a lobby, they vote for the next map to play on, and then as soon as that finishes, then they play on that map. Now, it does take over the entire server, which is why it operates kind of like those large network. It's meant to be run like a network, so players are immediately joined to the lobby or the game when they join the server, so you would have some sort of transition, whether that's server signs or some other kind of plugin to get them onto this server, which is running your SG plugin. Now, the other part of that is it does kind of require MySQL. Now, it doesn't require it to run, but for full functionality, you want that set up because it will track the statistics, and then you can have it across all of your servers that are running it with all the different arenas. Otherwise, it doesn't work. But the plugin works fine. It does keep track of your tokens or points or however much or whatever money you want to call it. It has its own built-in version of that, which is really cool. Permissions. Well, we're just going to get through those real quick before we get to setting it all up, but the permissions are pretty straightforward here. One thing to note for the user permissions on the screen here is that you need to give people spectate permissions, otherwise they will be booted off the server when they die. So if they can't spectate, they'll just get disconnected, and then they have to reconnect and get back in the lobby, and it's just easier. If they have spectate, then they just go back to the lobby after they die and the game is over. Now, the admin permissions, there's a lot of them there, but they're pretty self-explanatory. So if you want some moderators to have ability to enable or disable or do other various things, forced deathmatch, stuff like that, maybe you want to give that to your donors. So let's get into setting it all up. It's pretty easy, actually. So we are on in there joined to a lobby, but it's not actually going. So you just do /SG, and it pretty much you just want to walk down the list and run all these commands. First thing you want to do is kind of disable it just so it's not running while you're doing all this stuff, and then you just do SG enable to do that again. So we want to set the lobby spawn. This is the point that they join when they rejoin or this is the point that they get sent to once they rejoin, once the game ends. So we want to do set lobby spawn. There we go. Now we don't want to do SG refill chest. That's going to be in game, and then the same thing with SG force DM. Now we do want to do SG arena create test. Now you don't have to be standing anywhere for that or anything like that. It just creates that in there. So what we want to do is come up here, and we're going to lay down just a regular chest just right there, and then we're going to create a couple spawns around it. Like, this is really simple, just helping you guys get going. And spawn test. So that's going to add a spawn to the test arena there, and then we're going to add another spawn, do the same command again and again. There we go. So what you do is you create your map, and then you just kind of go through it, and you're going to add these chests around. And now if you don't do anything else, that's going to be like a tier 1 chest, which is like pretty basic items. We'll do over here, we're going to look at this one, and we're going to do SG arena add tier 2 test. So looking at that chest is going to make it a tier 2, so it'll automatically be filled with items once the game has started. So the other thing is that if it's down to 2 people, it goes into a deathmatch mode after a certain period of time. So we want to go ahead and set up a deathmatch spawn. So we're just going to come in here. We're not really going to show you that because it can't really show you, but arena add. So it's ADD and then DM spawn test. So it's actually like 3 Ds in a row there. It's kind of a little confusing. Threw me for a loop. And then there's one spawn, and then you pretty much only need to do 2. Unless you have a deathmatch of 4 people, then you do that. But that's all set up in the configuration file. We'll show you that in a moment. So commands. And now there's also the user commands in there, which is pretty basic, but we're just doing the admin setup. So we do SG enable. Like I said, super simple, and there you go. It's ready to go. And because we're an op in creative, it has fireworks going, I guess. So if we go GMS, then those stop. So let's do a demonstration of it. Actually, let's take a look at the configuration, then we'll do a demonstration of it, and then you'll get to see some of that stuff in action. Okay, so here we are in our tutorial server here. You go up into your plugins folder like always. You're going to drop your SG Premium, and then that loads up. Now, you don't need any of these extra other things, but, you know, I have them in there. So we're going to go at SG Premium. Now, Arenas is going to be there filled in. You probably don't really want to make any changes to that unless you want to change some of the break and place whitelist of that in there. And then your chest, pretty straightforward. You got your tier 1 items, your tier 2 items. Now you can modify that, and it's just going to randomly pick items from this list to fill in the chest, which is pretty cool. You can change your max items, and then you can even do double chests there, and rare tier 2. Restock time, you can set that. I think that's 5 minutes for 600 seconds is 10 minutes. Yes. So configuration, now this is kind of where it goes. Now this is where you enable this part and then put in your SQL information in order to enable stats and all that. You can change your max and minimum. We're going to change that to 2 so that we can show you guys a quick run through there. You can see it sets the lobby spawn. You can change the vote item, all that stuff, death, XP, the XP you get on killing somebody, and then the points that you get for killing them. Here's the spectate menu. Sponsors, that's another thing you can do, but you need to have statistics enabled for that. You can sponsor other people to give them items to help them win, which is really cool. You got your auto TNT, and I'll be honest, I don't really know what that is, but you got your lightning on death. You can enable or disable that, which is really cool. Auto DM time, which is also really cool. You can have whitelisted commands in there so that any other commands are blocked while the game is going. I like that. Other timer stuff in there, which is really neat. Now let's talk about the displays. All those scoreboard things is you can modify all that. There's a variables for that on the screen right now, and you can modify this to be whatever you want, the way that you want, the colors that you want. I love that when authors do this, allows you to really customize the plugin for your own server. Now here's your kits. Now this is pretty straightforward. You got enabled, true, use points. We could set that to true or false. And then what you want to do is actually, I don't know why it's not in there by default. You want to put in this variable here, which will be on the screen. And then it'll actually show the price of the kit, which is really cool. And then that's pretty much all. You can modify this stuff. You can add a lore to it. You can change which slot it's in. That's the 0-1, what item looks up, what item shows up, what the name of it, all that. And then my last favorite thing is messages. You can modify all the messages. So if you want to change it to be your own language, you can do that as well. This is a really cool plugin. Let's hop over and show it in action. Okay, here we are with my trusty sidekick. As you can see that as soon as he joined, it says the game will start in 1 minute, and you can come over here and you can vote. There's only one arena on here, which is fine, and we'll just go ahead and do vote. Then we have our players 2, and then I'm not sure. Oh, that's just the line, so that's not anything to pay attention to there. So we're going ahead. Okay, so here it starts the 5-second countdown. Like I said, you can set up all those countdowns in the configuration. Now we can look at kits and we can purchase them, but we don't have any money, which if you do, there's like an accept and deny, which is really cool. But we don't have any kits, so we're not really going to do anything like that. Now, if you remember correctly, these are like the tier 1. We got pretty basic items in here. There's a grace period of 15 seconds. All that stuff is configured. And then I think this is the last basic one. There we go. So their grace period ends, and now we can hit them. And then here's our tier 2. So we got iron boots and stuff. We don't really have any weapons here, but you know, we can beat them with a raw fish and kill them real quick. And actually what I'm gonna do is have him kill me, so you can see that you go into a spectator mode once you die, and he's gonna kill me with my own fish, which is just super unfortunate. There we go. So we killed them, and now we see that we've got spectator mode. We can teleport to a different player by doing that, and all that stuff. So now that we've finished that, he actually got 5 points for slaying me, then 50 points for winning, and then he can use that to spend on other kits. So that's all. This plugin is really cool. The author is very active, did 2 updates in the process of me figuring out this plugin and getting ready to do this tutorial. So hopefully you find it enjoyable and help this tutorial helpful. Feel free to hit that like. That helps me out a lot. This is Cons reminding you guys all, enjoy the game.
Well, that's
and then they go crazy.
Holy crap! And wait for it. There it is.
There's the explosion. And she's still alive. She was flying there. Oh man, I'm a little off center. Is that better? There we go.